Hello everyone and welcome back to Microtech Knives. You guys know that we just released the Ultratech 4, but one thing we didn't talk about is the re-release of the Halo 4 as well as the Nemesis 4. So if you don't know much about these knives, definitely stick around because we're going to cover a little bit of history and I'm going to go into detail about each one of these new offerings. So over 30 years ago, Tony Marfione had an idea for a knife and it was called the UDT. That was somewhere around 1994. That's really what started Microtech. And then in about 1995, he came out with the LUDT. Now, of course, this is the Gen 3, the latest version, but you got to remember, our heritage wasn't out the fronts, even though that's what we're known for. The first thing we had were switchblades. So following that same time frame, about 1995, after the LUDT, came a knife called the CFO, or the Combat Front Opener, and it was almost identical to the Halo. Now, when it comes to the Halo, guys, these were single action knives. So what that means is the dual action or the double action that you're used to, press and it deploys, retract and it retracts, that was unheard of back then. So the single action has a different mechanism. You can actually see Tony's heritage in this because if you think of how, let's say, the mechanism works on a lot of firearms, like if you're trying to hold a bolt open on a charging handle, it's very similar to that. So this is a single action mechanism. It will not auto retract. Now I'll get into the specifics about this in just a moment, but this is going to be the new release of the Halo 4. So it is a beautiful, beautiful handle, what you're used to. The handle size on this comes in at 5.4 inches in length. The blade is going to be at 3.85 inches long. Now the width of this blade comes in at 0.12 inches, and at the widest point of the actual handle, it's going to be 1.2 inches wide. Now the width of the handle itself, 0.43. So it is a beautiful knife with some great jimping here. You can actually see the blade when it is in its stowed position. It does not have a safety, but that's actually been thought of. So even if you take a flat surface and you place this on a table, if I'm pressing that button as hard as I can, it won't fire. So in order to fire this, what you're going to do is press the button and it fires. Once it fires, it's in the locked position. But unlike our double action knives, if something stops it or gets in the way, it has lost its propulsion. That's not the way a Halo works. The way these single actions work is it has constant pressure all the time. It doesn't matter. Now, in order to retract this, what you're going to have to do is press the button. And in doing so, now you're going to grab what we call the charging handle at the bottom, and you're going to pull it. Once you do that, you can release the button. That will charge the mechanism, and then you take the charging handle and press it back in place. Now it's ready to be fired again. So this is going to be the Halo 4. Initially it's going to come out as a custom, but then it will be offered in the Marfione Select line. You'll also see we did change it to the standard Torx. We're not going to have the Microtech proprietary screws, and it will also have a pocket clip as well. So we're really excited about the launch of the Halo 4, and it will come in an SE blade as well as a tanto. Now, believe it or not, before the Nemesis came out, right after the CFO Halo released, the next knife that Tony came up with was the Masterpiece. Now guys, this is truly a work of art. A lot of people don't realize the heritage of the Masterpiece goes back that far, but Tony was very inspired by the look of an Italian stiletto. And so what he wanted to do was design an out the front that had the guards on there. So similar to the Nemesis, you had a safety button here. So in the up position, the safety was deployed, you pulled downwards. Now when you press the button, check that out. Now you have guards that deploy on both sides. So taking from some of that heritage, the Nemesis 4 was released. You have a much more slender design. It is longer, but it's going to fire very similarly to the Masterpiece. You have a safety here, and in the upward position, it is engaged. When we pull downwards on it, now we are ready to fire. So by pressing this button, it is a single action, and there it is. And it is locked out where it should be. You can actually see the locks here on the blade when it's in its stowed position. And on the side here is going to be a release. So what you'd have to do is press this tab over, and then you have a charging handle that's half the size of the one on the Halo, and you would charge it that way. I'm gonna see if I can do it with my right hand without losing the camera view. Once we push that, we're gonna pull the charging handle, put it back in its stowed position, engage the safety, and now it's safe for carry. The Nemesis does not have a pocket clip. However, let's go over some of the features. The overall length of the handle in this unit is actually going to be 5.8 inches long. The blade comes in at 4.4 inches in length, and the width of the handle is going to come in at 0.60 inches. It's 1 inch wide here, and the overall length open comes in at about 10.2 inches. So similar to the Halo 4, the Nemesis 4 is going to be available as a custom first, and then it will be released as a Marfione Select. So we hope you guys are as excited as we are about the new release of the Halo 4 as well as the Nemesis 4. You guys stay tuned for more.